Hey everybody, Uncle Rich here for Who's Telling the Truth. Guys, today is May 1st, 2017. It's May Day. That's right, I just looked it up. It's a public holiday, usually celebrated on the 1st, May 1st. It's an ancient Northern Hemisphere spring festival. Good enough for me. Let's party. So we're going to have some fun on today's show. And the name of today's show's number is 173. And the name of today's show is Science Friction. And guys, if any one of you ever watch me post on Facebook, that's the way I spell science. And there's been so much friction and misinformation. And just Saturday, I was up in New Milford, and there was a climate rally, a climate march up in New Milford. And guys, through Facebook and through the show, you know, we've been advertising the fact that there was going to be a rally. And one of the people on Facebook got in touch with me, and it turns out she's an old friend. And she said she used to be a clown. So I said, her name is Janina, and we're going to give her a shout out at the end of the show. We're going to give her a special guest appearance. But her name is Janina. And I said, well, why don't you, dress up as a clown and we'll go up to New Milford. And guys, I tell you, Judy, can you bring I want to bring up there we go. Bring the whole thing up full. Guys, this is the rally that we went to, and this was on the green in New Milford, and it was sponsored by the Western Connecticut Civil Action Group. And there's a phone number down there. But guys, hopefully, I met Ann. Ann is one of the supervisors there. I introduced myself, and after we're done with the show, of course, I'm going to send them a heads up, and maybe they'll put us on their site. I don't know how active they are, but guys, a lot of people are going to say, well, Rich, how many people showed up? How big was the rally? Can you give me some kind of an idea? And guys, the easiest and the best way to do it is I took videos. Well, I took one video. I should have taken more. I got to learn, But anyway, Judy, let's have video number 3. And as the video is playing, I'm going to talk over it. So if you could bring that up full now, and let me talk over it. Guys, from where you see now to this big tree, I counted 50 people. So figure out 50 people at that section, and then you can see how far back the crowd goes and take an estimate. But you got to bring the dog. And the one dog was against greed. But this is what I'm going to introduce you now to Bubbles, to Janine.
Anger, or they have
and guys,
passion,
I tell you, she really
and
went
they don't know
all
how
out,
to do
and
these
she
things
did a
when they
great
start
job.
out.
Clowning.
But by God, they sure know how to do it when they finish. And the final one I'd say is that late, great doyen of environmentalism in my own town, Janie
And her
Peterson,
sign said, no
who almost
clowning around.
single-handedly,
Global
with her
warming
husband,
is no joke.
fought uncontrolled residential development
And you
sprawl
can
in the
see,
bad old
that's
80s
the old
and 90s when the developers
bandstand,
around
and
here
they got
never
the
saw
tank
development,
there.
they didn't just love.
So if somebody says, how many people you think showed up, I'm going
It's
to take
the
a wild guess and say, well, Judy, if you come back to me, at least 200 to 300, as many as 500. But these are people that are going out of their way because they understand what? They understand science. And guys, on this show, I always give Uncle Joey, Uncle Joey! Me and Uncle Joey have been going back and forth about global warming, and I tell you, Uncle Joey's a trooper. He sticks with the Republican Party. My party, right or wrong. My party. Right, Joey? Right, Joe? Let's be honest with each other, right, Joey? So Joey can't admit to global warming. So guys, I've always been giving him business. I say, Joe, can you send me a global cooling chart? Just send me a chart that shows that there's global cooling. So Judy, let's see. Let's have still number 4, please. And guys, I want to show you what Uncle Joey sent me. And if you look at the top of it, and I'm having a little bit of a problem reading it, it says charts showing climate data manipulation. All right? And this is how he Googled it. So charts showing climate data manipulation, like he thinks that NASA and NOAA would fudge these. So guys, let's just take a look. You see all the charts. And if we page down, there's a whole page of them. But let's just take a look at the top 5 charts, all right? So Judy, if we can go to the next still, please, which will be the first chart on the left there. What's that, Judy? Okay. Now, guys, take a good look at this chart. Take a good look at it. Is there anything specifically that you notice about this chart? Just take a good look at it. Judy, let's go to the next one. Guys, take another. Now this is flawed NOAA data showing higher temperatures. Verified Met Office data showing lower. Guys, don't they almost look like they run in tandem? But once again, do you notice something is missing there? Judy, let's go to the next chart, please. Guys, take a look at this. Do you notice anything missing from that chart? Take a good look at it. Study it. Do you notice anything missing? Judy, let's go to the next one. These are just the first 5, guys, okay? And no, I think we got that. Hold up, Judy. I think we got, let me try to, I think you got that out of sync, but I could be wrong. But anyway, hopefully everybody had a good rally. Yeah, okay, so Judy, that's number 9. Okay, no, you're right. But guys, take a look at it. And once again, what is missing from this chart? Aside from the fact that it says NASA, what's missing? And Judy, now let's go. Guys, so we showed you the first 5 charts. Come back to me, Judy. We showed you the first 5 charts. We just picked the first 5 right off the top. And what's the one thing that you noticed about each chart? Come on, guys. Come on. We say this on every show. Did you notice that none of those sites sourced their information? They showed figures, but they didn't cite their source. Who made the chart up? The guy down the street? Their kid in grammar school? And what do we always say to everybody on this show? Be specific and cite your source over and over and over. And you know what? Sometimes I wonder if Uncle Joey actually watches these shows. Because if he would watch them, the first thing he would say is, oh, I can't submit this. If I submit this, Uncle Rich will chew me up and spit me out and make me look like a moron. Joey, you're not a moron. You've been brainwashed. Uncle Rich is here to unbrainwash you. The truth doctor is going to set you straight. Judy, let's have clip number, still number 10, please. And guys, take a good look at this still. And look at this global temperature time series. It's done by NASA, verified by NOAA. And guys, if you just look at the authenticity with this and the global temperatures, up at the top. And so guys, now you saw what Uncle Joey posted. Judy, come back to me. You saw what Uncle Joey posted. You saw what we put up. Who you gonna believe? Uncle Joey? Or your lying eyes? Isn't that how it goes? But guys, and why? Why does he do this? My party, right or wrong. Am I right, guys? He doesn't want to know the truth. And I tell him, I said, Joe, what are you going to tell your kids? Eventually, you're going to have to tell your kids. So what are you going to say? Dad, what did you do when the globe was warming? I denied it. Come on, Joe. Come on. I mean, really. And guys, the next chart is the kicker, because this is the chart that explains why we're having such extreme weather. So Judy, chart number 11, please. Guys, take a look at this. This is the amount of CO2 in the atmosphere. And guys, we haven't gone above that blue line. We haven't increased over that for 650,000 years. But not only that, look at that last red line. It's like it's going straight up. Bada bing. Judy, come back to me. Guys, you can deny, and you can lie, but eventually, you got to be honest. And why Uncle Joey doesn't want to be honest, why he stands behind his party and the fossil fuel industry, and that's what this is all about, guys. It's about the fossil fuel industry. They would rather put the money in their pocket than take care of the people of the country. And like our last show, was called Tipping Point. And we proved to you, we proved to everybody, how it's now cheaper to generate solar electricity than it is to generate electricity even if the gas was free. Our last show is Tipping Point. No, I'm sorry, our last show was Tesla. The one before that was Tipping Point. But we're going to show you another clip today from Tesla because we didn't finish. And I tell you, the Teslas with the two motors, it's like getting shot off an aircraft carrier. And wait till you see the reaction of the people. I'm telling you, they were stunned. But guys, what happens is, when we put more CO2 in the air, we trap the heat. And as the globe gets warmer, let's be honest with each other. Does warmer air hold more moisture or does colder air? Think about that for a minute. When you're taking a shower, if you take a cold shower and you run your finger down the mirror, will you get any water on it? Very little. But let the hot water run for a couple of minutes, and with the steam and the condensation, you could take your finger, you get a stream. And what do you think happens in the atmosphere? Warmer air holds more water. So when it rains so hard. I think in Houston, they had 11 inches of rain today in 1 hour. 11 inches of rain. The one guy came out, he goes, I don't know. He goes, I came out, the water was up to the tire. The next time I went to come out, I couldn't open the front door. And you say, wow. And what's going to happen? Who's going to pay for all this? But guys, we're going to show you. We're going to go, and this clip is from Fox News, and this is what's been happening. This happened just this weekend. I think this was in celebration of Trump's 100th day in office. Sometimes I think there is a God, and boy, did he ruin Trump's holiday down in Texas. But anyway, Judy, let's have clip number 12, please. Fox News, guys.
Alert to tell you about more tragedy and tornadoes this weekend. At least 9 people have been killed and dozens more injured as severe storms and tornadoes ripped through Texas, Arkansas, and parts of the Midwest. 4 of those deaths occurred yesterday, the result of a series of tornadoes that tore through East Texas. Search crews are right now looking through destruction for more possible victims as officials work to try to determine the full scope of all that damage. Will Carr has the very latest. He's live tonight at one of the hardest hit areas, Canton, Texas. It's about 1 hour east of Dallas, and that's where Governor Abbott said a tornado was 50 miles, and the governor at his news conference said he'd never seen one that wide. Hi, Will.
And Eric, as those search crews continue to go across this area, we've just learned that 2 people are still unaccounted for. You have to keep in mind this is a very widespread rural part of Texas, so it's taking them a while to go property by property, just like they did earlier. They came and searched this. This is the rustic barn. It was actually set to host a prom last night. When about 45 minutes before the dancing was supposed to start, it took a direct hit. On the inside, there was 15 people. They actually got into the bathrooms and into a small closet and rode out the storm. Amazingly, nobody was hurt or killed. This is one of 4 tornadoes that ripped across this area, damage stretching more than 30 miles. The governor just took a tour. You mentioned that. Take a listen to what he had to say.
It's just devastating. It looked like in areas that were filled with trees, that were forest, it looked like they've been ripped down as tinker toys, just completely knocked down. You saw homes and other buildings that were completely flattened, as well as others that were nothing more than rubble. It was just large swath after large swath of devastation.
A nearby car dealership took a direct hit with vehicles being tossed around
Look
like
at all
toy
those
cars. It's
cars,
all part of
guys.
the storm system that swept across Texas,
Total
Missouri,
losses.
Mississippi, and Arkansas, where a 10-year-old girl drowned after being swept away by floodwaters. And here in Van Zandt County, they've issued a disaster declaration after more than 50 people were sent to local hospitals. It's very reminiscent of the Van tornado that took place just about 15 miles from here back in 2015. 2 people were killed in that tornado. About 40, a little more than 40 were injured in that tornado. That ended up being an EF3. Surveyors for the National Weather Service are now on the ground today trying to figure out exactly how strong these 4 tornadoes were yesterday. Eric.
All right, well, those people certainly very fortunate where you are there tonight. Hopefully they will find no more victims. Thank you, Will.
Now, guys, who's going to pay for all those cars? The insurance companies, right? Who's going to pay the insurance company? Who's going to absorb these losses? I mean, insurance is usually not for national disasters. And you know, I saw one guy, and the water is up to his waist. And he goes, I think this one's much worse than the flood of 15. And the guy goes, you mean you had another flood like this in 2015? That was 2 years ago? So guys, when you start having floods on a repeated basis, is it a coincidence or is it climate change? And when are we going to start to admit it? And what's going to happen when your insurance premiums rise? And you're going to say, hey, I haven't done anything. And they said, yeah, but you know what? We're one natural disaster away from bankruptcy. You know what I'm saying? And you know, people, and why is this happening? Because we're putting too much carbon in the air. And people say, well, what am I going to do about it? Well, the first thing you could do about it is stop being a denier like Uncle Joey. At least be honest enough to admit that we have a problem. Even if you can't do anything about it, at least acknowledge it. So, okay, now we can figure out we got a problem. How do we fix it? Ah, now we're talking. You see how this works? I mean, it really gets simple. But guys, you know, sometimes things can be misconstrued. And on our next clip, we're going to show you that the apple doesn't fall far from the orange. And we're going to, John Oliver did such a beautiful job with showing how Ivanka is more than willing to deceive people if they want to be deceived. Just like Fox does. Did you notice in that clip? Not once did they mention climate change. Not once did they mention extreme weather. Why? They have to deny it. So let's see the logic that Ivanka uses to try to trick the simple folk like Uncle Joey and the Fox viewers. So Judy, clip 13, please.
So it seems when it comes to lying about easily observable facts, the apple does not fall far from the orange. And let's take a look, though, at that comprehensive, bold, fresh Trump childcare proposal, because according to the Tax Policy Center, very few of its benefits went to the lowest income families. In fact, families with incomes between $10,000 and $30,000 would receive average benefits of just $10 a year. And the only daycare that costs $10 is a padlock. Okay, Mommy's going to work and Mrs. Masterlock is going to keep you in your bedroom for the next 8 hours. Thanks, Ivanka, you're the best. And look, you may still like Ivanka. That's fine. She can be appealing, and that's frankly not by accident. She's been trained in the art of Trump branding to be as vague and likable as possible so that everyone can plausibly think that she shares their values, whether or not that's actually true. And if that sounds like a harsh thing for me to say about her, I will point out she's basically shared that message in one of her books.
Perception is more important than reality. If someone perceives something to be true, it is more important than if it is in fact true. This doesn't mean you should be duplicitous or deceitful, but don't go out of your way to correct a false assumption if it plays to your advantage.
She's pretty much telling you to your face not to trust any assumption that you are making about her. So it is possible that she is doing nothing to moderate her father. And I understand that there is an impulse not to want to think about that. Just like you don't want to think about the fact that it is also possible that in the White House right now, her father may be bowling naked. Yeah, maybe he's wearing bowling shoes. Maybe he's forcing Mike Pence to play alongside him. We don't know. We just have to deal with the fact that it's possible.
Man, that's a sick thought, huh? But guys, you see how it works? And how could you know, if somebody's not getting it, why wouldn't you want to explain it to them? Why would you want to try to trick people? It just makes no sense to me. You know, these people are evil, and I think people are starting to understand. I don't think Uncle Joey will. You know, Joey's a team player. He's part of Team Trump. I don't think if Trump set off nuclear, I don't think Joey would care. Joey would go, yeah. And so many times, guys on Facebook, he goes, Rich, I don't care. Well, what do you care about, Joe? The only thing he cares about is the Republican Party. But guys, the next clip we're going to show you, Seth Meyers did a beautiful job of explaining how beneficial Trump's first 100 days has been to the American public. And this is a nice clip. It's a 10-minute clip. So like we say on this show for the longer ones, smoke if you got 'em. Judy, 14, please.
As Donald Trump nears the 100th day of his presidency, he's celebrating the number of executive orders he's signed and pushing a new plan to cut taxes on corporations. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. This Saturday will mark the 100th day of Trump's presidency, and Trump is desperate for positive accomplishments to celebrate. Yesterday, his White House released a statement bragging that Trump will have signed 30 executive orders during his first 100 days, which is ridiculous. Claiming you've been a good president just because you signed a lot of executive orders makes no sense. But don't just take it from me. Take it from this guy.
We have a president that can't get anybody to do anything, so he signed, executive orders. And the country wasn't supposed to be that way.
We have a president that can't get anything done, so he just keeps signing executive orders.
And he goes around signing all these executive orders. It's a basic disaster. You can't do it.
You're supposed to get together and pass a law. He doesn't want to do that because it's too much work. So he doesn't want to work too hard. He wants to go back and play golf.
It's like... It is at this point like a law of physics. For every Trump action, there's an equal and opposite Trump clip. I swear, if Trump said the bathroom was down the hall and to the right, I'm sure we'd find an old clip.
Down the hall and to the left.
Damn it! This is still the best Trump quote about Obama and executive orders.
I want to not use too many executive orders, folks. You know, because, you know, executive orders sort of came about more recently. Nobody ever heard of an executive order. Then all of a sudden, Obama, because he couldn't get anybody to agree with him, he starts signing them like they're butter.
Do you sign your butter? Are you one of those guys who puts your name on everything in the fridge? Of course, Trump's previous comments about executive action haven't stopped his supporters like New Jersey Governor Chris Christie from giving him high marks for his first 100 days and specifically citing his executive orders as a reason.
What grade would you give him?
Listen, I'd give him a B so far.
A B?
I would. I'd give him a B. And I would say the reason I give him a B is, first and foremost, because of Neil Gorsuch. I also think some of the things he's done by executive action have been very good on the regulatory side.
I like that Christie thinks he's playing hard to get by giving Trump a B. I'm not giving you an A, Donald. I'm giving you a B. Chase me. Also, I can imagine Trump's reaction to getting a B. That's ridiculous. Everyone knows the highest grade is a C. So Christie likes Trump's executive orders. I wonder what he had to say when President Obama used executive action to get things done.
Now this president wants to act as if he's a king, as if he's a dictator.
The president wants to do things without working with his Congress, without working with the legislature, and without getting the consent of the American people.
Dictatorship's not leadership, John. And he's acting like a dictator and a petulant child.
Yeah. Thank God we no longer have a president who acts like a petulant child.
Quiet, quiet, quiet. Sit down. Sit down. Okay, sit down. A very insulting question. Wait a minute. I don't have to tell you. I don't have to tell you. I'm not going to tell you. I'm just telling you. You know, you're dishonest people.
And I don't want to go to bed. I go to bed when I want to go to bed. And I am having, I'm sorry to say, I am having Skittles for dinner. But Trump isn't the only one who's faced criticism in the first 100 days. There's also his daughter and assistant to the president, Ivanka Trump. There have been a lot of questions about what exactly Ivanka's role is and what makes her qualified for it, as well as her conflicts of interest and connections to her own business. Yesterday, she appeared at a panel in Germany on female business leaders, and instead of lobbing softball questions, the moderator grilled her.
The German audience is not that familiar with the concept of a first daughter. I'd like to ask you, what is your role, and whom are you representing? Your father as the President of the United States, the American people, or your business?
Man, leave it to a German moderator to ask the most cutting questions. Why are you here? What is your purpose? Explain yourself. Also, you are smiling, but I do not think you are happy. Is it a fake smile? Yes? And then later, Ivanka tried to claim incredibly that her father was actually a champion for families. And again, the moderator followed up with a tough question. Watch Ivanka's face after the moderator jumps in.
He's been a tremendous champion of supporting families and enabling them to thrive in the new reality of
you hear the reaction from the audience, so I need to address one more point. Some attitudes towards women your father has publicly displayed in former times might leave one questioning whether he's such an empowerer for women. How do you relate to that, or are things changing? What's your comment on that?
And I notice now that your smile is gone. Is it safe to say that this current dead face is a better indicator of your true feelings? So as Trump approaches the 100-day mark, he's done a total 180 on executive orders, and there are questions swirling about key members of his administration. And then there are the ways in which Trump has just completely backtracked on some of the signature issues of his campaign. Take, for example, NATO, which he repeatedly called obsolete. Now, not only is Trump reversing himself, he's literally pleading ignorance. He told the Associated Press, "They had a quote from me that NATO's obsolete. I was on Wolf Blitzer, very fair interview. So they asked me, Wolf asked me about NATO, and I said two things. NATO's obsolete, not knowing much about NATO. Now I know a lot about NATO." You see, I'm stupid, so I lied. What's the problem? Why is that problematic? And then, of course, there's the wall. Trump has been locked in a showdown with Republicans in Congress over including money for the wall and a bill to fund the government. And after initially insisting on money for the wall, Trump finally relented and indicated that the border wall funding could wait until September. And that crushed many of Trump's hardcore supporters, like a heartbroken Rush Limbaugh, who had to break the news to his audience. Watch how long it takes him to get to that bad news.
I'm not happy to have to pass this on. I'm very, very troubled to have to pass this on. And I want to say at the outset that I hope my interpretation is wrong, and I hope this is not the case, but it looks like, from here, right now, it looks like President Trump is caving on his demand for a measly $1 billion in the budget for his wall.
He sounds like a doctor giving next of kin some terrible news. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you this, but there were complications, and we had to remove your grandmother's wall. And now Mexicans are pouring into her liver. After the disappointing reactions from his hardcore supporters started rolling in, Trump did everything he could to reassure them that the wall would, in fact, be built, although it didn't really seem like he had given the timeline much thought.
The wall gets built, 100%. Thank you very much.
Win, sir. Win, sir. Win. Win, Mr. President. Win, Mr. President. When will the wall get built? When will the wall get built?
Soon.
Soon.
Thank you. We're already preparing. We're doing plans. We're doing specifications. We're doing a lot of work on the wall, and the wall gets built.
In your first term. In your first term.
The wall is very, very important.
In your first term.
Well, it's certainly gonna. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, sure. He's like a dad who made the mistake of mentioning Disneyland to his kids. Are we going, Dad? Are we going? Yeah. Yeah, sure. Why the did I mention Disneyland? From Disneyland. So the president has very little to show for his first 100 days, which may be why Trump, who sold himself as a champion of the forgotten man, is setting his sights on a new goal, a giant tax cut for corporations.
The Trump administration announcing a sweeping tax reform plan, slashing rates for both individuals and businesses across the U.S.
What he says could be the biggest tax cut we've ever had. The tax reform plan will cut the corporate tax rate from 35% to 15%.
Who could possibly benefit from such a massive tax cut? Okay, fine, but besides him. Okay, yeah, fine, but besides him. Okay, yeah, but fine, but besides her. Okay, yeah, but besides him. Oh, boy! Knew it was coming, and he's still...
He does look scary, doesn't he?
Now, the details of this plan, which Trump has been working on with his Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, are still very unclear. When he sat down with the AP this week to talk about his first 100 days, Trump tried to offer a preview of the tax plan. But I'm not sure he really helped clarify things all that much. This is the actual transcript from the AP's Oval Office interview with Trump. Notice how many times the reporter who was in the room with Trump could not understand what he was saying. We're going to be doing major tax reform. Here's part of your story. It's going to be a big unintelligible. Everybody's saying, oh, he's delaying. I'm not delaying anything. I'll tell you the other thing is unintelligible. We've been working on it, unintelligible. Secretary Mnuchin is a very talented person, very smart, very successful, unintelligible. We're going to be putting that out on Wednesday or shortly thereafter. Let me leave a little room just in case, unintelligible. Trump's answers are literally just Mad Libs now. I'll tell you about my tax plan. It's going to be a big sandwich. Secretary Mnuchin is a very successful basketball player. Just leave me a little room just in case China. So Trump is racing to commemorate his 100th day in office by signing a slew of executive orders pushing tax cuts for corporations and abandoning his key promises. Donald, do you really think any of this is going to work with voters?
Yeah, sure.
Here's been a closer look.
Yeah, sure. You know, my father always used to say, like Trump says so often, we'll see. We'll see. Hey, Dad, can we go swimming? We'll see. And then you go talk to, what did he say? He said, we'll see. And in the beginning, you go, oh, good, we'll see. Well, after a while, you found out that what did he say? He said, we'll see. Oh, that means we ain't going. And that's what it's like with Trump. It's like you're dealing with a little kid. He talks to you like you're a little kid. And I'll tell you, sometimes my wife gives me the business, the way I talk on the show. And, don't talk down to people. Holy mackerel. Trump's got to learn to talk up to people. Never mind talk down to them. But guys, on the last show, we featured Tesla. But you know what? We didn't show you the fun part of Tesla. And guys, The Tesla Model D with the dual motors goes from 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. And there's only one way to express what that's like. So Judy, let's have clip number 15, please.
You're filming reactions of people, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay.
I had a big dinner, ribs and cornbread, I'll tell you that.
So you're gonna do it and I'm really not gonna know, you're just gonna hit it.
Don't be the best way.
Scare me.
Ready?
Yeah.
Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds.
Do I need a helmet or anything? No, I think we're good.
Oh yeah, I'm ready.
T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10,
okay.
9.
Yeah.
Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy shit! Oh my... Oh, you weren't kidding! It's like a roller coaster! Oh my God! Oh my God! Holy shit!
That's like a roller coaster.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Oh shit!
That is hilarious. That is ridiculous. That is hilarious. That is so nutty.
It felt like I was on an airplane or something. Wow, that's insane.
It was like Disneyland. It was like Space Mountain, man.
How when you screaming when they had like a standstill, then you're like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
That's crazy. Oh, that was like a roller coaster. I'm glad I didn't eat any. I had a couple of chips before we got in the car, but. What was that?
It's like a scary ride.
That was the Superman ride at Magic Mountain in a nice smelling car without puke smelling.
All right, you want to come back to me?
I was expecting a little, throw back at the head, but not that. I would just rather doing that all day. Just like over and over again. That's amazing. An electric car can do something like that.
Hello.
Oh my God, you know what this reminds me of? California screaming in an adventure. Oh my God.
זה עוד לא הרגשתי בחיים דבר כזה. זה כמו מטוסילות.
That's insane. Oh my God. That's so cool.
Holy shit. Imagine how I feel like a Batmobile.
That's amazing.
Okay, enough.
All right, Judy, I think we're going to come back. How much time do we have left? Can somebody tell me? 4 minutes. Okay, so let's go now with video number 19. And guys, we keep talking about renewable energy and how beneficial renewable energy is. And like we told you, our old director, got a job in solar. He went to night school, and now he's all over the country, making a good living installing solar panels. But there has to be a place where those solar panels are made. So guys, Solar City is building the largest solar manufacturing plant in the country in Buffalo, New York. And guess what? They need about 3,000 people to work there. Would you be willing to go work in a brand new factory, working for Solar City, renewable energy with benefits, a living wage, health insurance, working in a nice area, contributing, making things happen? Judy, let's show people what happens when we start to generate jobs with renewable energy.
Well,
Number
Solar
19.
City is expected to create thousands of jobs and put Western New York on the map for solar panel production.
As News 4's Callan Gray reports, it was a packed house as people came out to learn about what skills are needed to get a job with this up-and-coming company.
The line stretched out the door here at the Educational Opportunity Center as hundreds of people turned out to find out what jobs will be available at Solar City over the next few years. It's standing room only as Solar City explains how it plans to fill 1,500 positions at its new $900 million complex.
By the turnout here, it looks like there's going to be a lot more applicants than positions available. So looks like they're going to take the cream of the crop.
The screening process has just begun. The company plans to hire 100 to 200 higher-level engineering and management positions this fall. Then it will focus on the 1,000 manufacturing jobs. And there's room for growth.
It was kind of encouraging, knowing that you can start off maybe at a janitor and then, be a part of the actual organization later on, so it was good that you could move up.
For manufacturing job, the company requires a high school diploma or GED plus manufacturing experience. Solar City says the jobs will be 12-hour shifts and salaries will start at $30,000 a year.
Especially for a lot of young people that's maybe their first job, $30,000 a year without a serious college education is phenomenal for this area.
I mean, people will be happy to have a job, but working in those conditions in a factory setting, I would definitely like to see an increase in wage. If we are hard workers, we're dedicated workers, but we need to be treated fairly.
Solar City will spend the fall screening applicants, and it plans to start hiring before the new year. For a link on where you can apply for these positions, head to WIVB.com, where we posted a link to Solar City's website. Reporting from Buffalo, Callan Gray, News 4.
Guys, the future's here. It's that simple, and even though, a lot of people will deny it, but the fastest growing industry in the country is the solar industry. Of course, Fox News, the 1% in corporate America, they don't want you to know that. All they want you to do is keep buying gas or coal or oil so they can keep selling it. Oh, guys, and I want to point something out. We had our special guest, Mrs. Bubbles the Clown, and she's at Gmail. So if you ever want to get in touch with her, and she does clowny stuff. What do you expect from a clown? But I tell you, she was terrific in the rally. She really, with the kids loved her. And so if you ever have an event or anything, Mrs. Bubbles can hook you up. So Judy, how much time do we have left? 15. Can you put our Facebook page up one last time? Guys, if you got something to say it on Facebook, and we'll see you next, and hopefully we'll do the show live on Facebook, but we have snafus, right? Hey guys, stuff happens. But you know what?